So I bet y'all thought I was dipping out again. Nope. I'm here. I'm back. Okay. Happy New Year. The kids have been home for about 2.5 weeks for Christmas break. So I really wanted to get on here now that they are back in school. Thank you, Jesus. Now that they are back in school, and make the video for this new year, this new energy, this 2026. Okay. Yes, we know that the official new year is officially actually in the spring, depending on your practice. But in mine, I do acknowledge the new year for the springtime. However, we will acknowledge the entrance of this new cycle, which we're getting into, which we're already into. And we're going to talk about the shifts to expect that we're kind of probably already feeling at this moment now. But as we go on, there are three major, but four big shifts that we are going to experience astrology wise, and we are going to talk about it. So grab a seat and get you something to drink. I got my Coca-Cola. Look, I'm cutting back. And we are going to talk about the 2026 new year, new cycle. See you soon. Y'all like what I did there? See, I'm playing around with stuff. I'm trying to play around with stuff like little intros. I'm working on it. So anyways, let's chat about this 2026 new year as we navigate through this path, okay? The first thing I want to acknowledge before we even dive deep into this chat is that 2026, the biggest message is you don't have to force anything, okay? Yes, I see a lot of people talking about how it's a shifting year and how it's a pivotal year and expect all these things to happen, and you're going to be shifting and changing and navigating through all of, through whatever path you are on. We don't know if your relationship's going to shift, if your mindset's going to shift, if your job's going to shift, or all the above. All we know is that there are a bunch of shifts and pivots coming. Okay. For me, that gives me anxiety. That's because I'm like, where's it coming from? 2026, the message that is speaking loud and proud is that you don't have to force anything. You don't have to make anything happen. It's already happening and it's already working for you. Okay. Where a lot of times that we're in these moments or in these spaces where we got to do it. We got to force it. When these moments of stillness are approaching or we are in it, 2026 spirit, divine, God, whatever you resonate with, is not telling us we're doing something wrong. It's telling us to rest. It's telling us to reflect. It's telling us to reassess, to realign, okay? And remove if we need to. But most importantly, restore and rest are the big things. And then the next is reflect. 2026, everything is going to fall into place as it needs to be because we've already paved the way in 2025. It's already like the snake with its shed its skin. We're shedding its skin, but it's paved the way for us. Okay. Now let's talk about these shifts. Okay. So we have Neptune and Saturn entering Aries in January and February. Okay. So starting January 26th, Neptune moves into the sign of Aries, followed by Saturn on February 13th. Now, we are going to discuss both of those transits a little bit deeper later on in life, but these are very, very exciting and very big deals, especially on February 13th. Not only is it a Friday the 13th, I'm not a big Valentine's Day person, but expect the shift, expect the change, okay? Expect things falling into place and you having these aha moments around this time. Now, what's the vibe? Now, for the last 14 years, Neptune has been in its very comfort zone in the sign of Pisces, okay? It was about going with the flow, being mysterious, all those, uncertainties to a certain extent, but then also like, what are we doing? Okay. Now, in the sign of Aries, not only is it a warrior, but it welcomes a different dynamic of understanding, a different dynamic of doing, and a different dynamic of creativeness. Okay. Now, I would call this the spiritual renaissance. There are things that we are going to open our minds and bodies and spirits up to that is going to tell us stop dreaming and start doing, okay? And not forcing, but just doing enough, doing our part, doing, our list of things while spirit does the rest. And then as spirit is working, things start to fall into place. I hope that's making sense, okay? It's time to take your vision and build a concrete structure for it. That's the message here, okay? So expect a lot of aha moments. We're kind of already gearing into that space collectively. As we watch the news, we are getting a different understanding of things as we are processing things that are coming to us. 2026 is going to be a year where we step out of the norm and we start making waves, okay? So think about Neptune, going with the flow in Pisces. As we shift into Aries, like, no, actually, I don't want to do that. Or no, actually, I don't think that's a good idea. We are going to speak up and advocate for ourselves as well. Okay. Not being aggressive, not being problematic, but just sticking true to ourselves. Okay. Now we have Uranus entering Gemini on the 25th of April. All right. This is a game changer once again, even more building on to how we talk and how we think. Okay. Uranus is also a planet of revolution, and Gemini rules the communication. Okay. So watching the news, the information that we received, the amount of access that we have to that information, okay, how we process that information, technology. We're already seeing it with AI and how that's like ramping up. And I've been saying that. I know I should have started my channel years ago and shared my predictions, but I've been saying this for years about the revolution of AI and getting ready for 2025 and 2026, and how things are going to change, even transportation. Be mindful of the transportation laws that are going to be. Look, we're not doing any, we'll talk about that more in April, but there are going to be a lot of changes to how things are done and how things are received. Okay. I dropped my little trusty pen. We're seeing a lot of changes in the school system, the way that the children are being taught. Now, I have 4 children in school now, and for me, it's some days it's a very concerning type shit going on. Like what is going to happen. There are going to be massive breakthroughs with communication, radical shifts in the school system. Things are going to start moving fast. Now, pause here. I have been saying, if you've been getting readings from me for the past, I don't know, 6 months, 6 to 8 months, lately I have been saying that this is a time of stillness. Take your rest. And if you don't feel like resting, if you feel like you've rested up, rest some more. And if you've already rested enough, start to reflect on the things that you need to let go of so we can make space for the things that are coming. Start to reflect on the spaces that you've outgrown so you can move past them, because come spring, baby, we are going 125 miles per hour. Okay. No stopping. We are going. When that Uranus enters Gemini, things are going to start speeding up. A lot of things are going to be happening. And that's not something in a negative sense. That's a very positive shift. However, not only can it be overwhelming because, change, but it's just going to feel fast. Now, where 2025 was a very fast year, like where the hell are you going? But it was very draining for most of us. Okay. 2026 is going to be a very fast year, but very fast pace, and things are going to be falling into place and happening very fast. Okay. So a lot more positive, but there will be a lot of shifts and changes, and a lot of those shifts and changes can make us feel uncertain or worried, because us as humans, we don't love change, but change is necessary as we walk this path. Okay. I hope I'm making sense here. Now we have the third major shift, which Jupiter enters Leo June 30th. Okay. Me as a Sagittarius, I love this. Okay. I do have a lot of Leo placements. Okay. Leo moon, baby. I enjoy seeing this. I'm looking forward to this. So, it's very good. This is a, in my yoga terms, a very heart opening, heart space, transit. All right. Now, this is a time to focus on home, family, close friends, loved ones. This is a very big, think of a beautiful party, like a family reunion, okay? Um, Expect creative shifts, creative mindsets, new business endeavors, new business ideas, personal expression, and not just personal expression, just basic. Think big, okay? Massive energy, main character. There we go. Main character energy. Okay. So if you're already a Leo, or you are already a big character person, it's about to get bigger, baby. I've been telling people, prepare to be sick of me. I don't know how to insert that audio, but if I did, that's when I'll do it. But I'm working on it. Maybe around June, I'll have that together. And I had little things zooming in. We're working on it. Okay. Baby steps. So when Jupiter enters Leo, this is a very good vibe. Okay. This is kind of replicating that Jupiter in Cancer type of, energy. But this is going to be a great family reunion. This is going to be a time of creativeness. This is going to be a time of expansion. This is going to be a time of spiritual growth, as well as growth in your heart space, growth, really showing a lot of gratitude for the things that you love and the people that you love and the spaces that you occupy that fill your soul. Now, remember in the beginning, I said, this is a time to reflect and to think about those spaces, energies, and people we are around. Are they fueling our soul, or are they draining our soul? And then we need to acknowledge, have we outgrown those spaces, and remove them out of our timeline, out of our life, because there are things falling into place as we go through these years, as we go through this path, okay, of 2026. So June 30th, there is going to be a lot of socializing. There's going to be a lot of growth. There's going to be a lot of understanding. There's going to be a lot of connection. Make sure that you have the space for that, and make sure you're nice and rested for it. So that is what Spirit is motivating or pushing us, or asking us to do in this moment now, because we are now preparing. In the winter months, we are preparing for the busier times, but we are also resting. That is a way of preparing. Now let's talk about the eclipses. Now we have February 17th, solar eclipse in Aquarius. This is an ultimate reset, okay? Not only resetting your technical, your phone stuff, the relationship that you have with your social media, with your technology things, but this is also a reset of your social circles, okay? Once again, still in the winter months, we are reflecting and we are coming to terms with spaces and people that we have outgrown, and we are following suit. We are doing what we need to do, okay? These are important dates because these are turning points for this year. So February 17th, we have the solar eclipse in the sign of Aquarius. This is where we reset our social circles and our relationship with technology, okay? With how much we're using AI, how much we're not using AI, our phones, our social media, our computers. What are we relying on, and is that a healthy space? Do we have a healthy relationship? March 3rd is the total lunar eclipse in the sign of Virgo. This is a clean house moment, okay? We are getting out of old mindsets, old routines, old habits, everything that does not serve a purpose in your life that is positive. We are moving on. We are getting rid of it, because there's some stuff that we are building up for, and we are making space for it, okay? August 12th, we have a total solar eclipse in the sign of Leo. This is a beautiful one, okay? This is a new beginning. Not only a new beginning, but this is a time for you to put that right foot forward and take control, take leadership, okay? And be confident in where you're leading, where you're being led to as well. Now, coming again, August 28th, we have the partial lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces. There are emotional chapters that Spirit has been nudging us to let go of. This is the final, this is the close and lock door and throw away the key energy on the 28th of August, okay? So we are closing this chapter. We are closing this door, throwing away the key. We're keeping the lessons because we're alchemizing it as we move forward on this next cycle. But what we are doing is we are closing that door and saying good riddance, okay? Now, Aries, Geminis, Leos, and Aquarius, okay? You will really have an amplified 2026. Now there's some that I could put in order, but I'm just going to talk about the top 4, okay? Aries is the main character this year, all right? Not only are you rebuilding your entire identity from ground up, you are acknowledging who you are, and you're like, those pieces of me that I water down around this group of people are the pieces of me that I water down when I'm here or there. I ain't doing that no more. You're about to get all of me. This is where you step and shed away all your worries, all your concerns, and we really get to see your personality. My best friend is an Aries, and I see all the pieces of her. I cannot wait to have the world see all those pieces of her. Okay. Now, Gemini, your world is expanding. Expect sudden changes, exciting travels, and career pivots. Okay. Now, Geminis, I will say that while your world is expanding and while you're having all these opportunities, especially in the career space, make sure that you are, when you are coming and making these decisions, that you are making decisions not only based off of where you're trying to go, but also where you have been. Once again, we're letting go of the past, but we're keeping those lessons. And those lessons we are going to take and alchemize those and turn it into gas to fuel our vehicle as we go through the next 9 years or the 2026. Okay. So make sure that you are aligned with the decision making and that you are taking pride in leadership in the choices that you are making, because these are based off of your experiences and where you are wanting to go in your future. Leos, after June comes, luck is on your side. This is going to be a lucky year for you, especially after June, okay? When it comes to your money, okay, this is going to be an expansion year. Now, as someone who lives and loves the casino, I'm not saying test it out, but I'm saying if you win the lottery, cut me a little something, a little mango sticky rice, okay? I have an addiction to mango sticky rice from this restaurant around the corner from my house. That's all I ask. Just unlimited mango sticky rice. That's it. Leos, you are going to have a wonderful year, especially after June. Luck is definitely on your side. This is not only your year to shine, but it's also your year to be seen. Okay. Aquarius, Pluto is settled in your sign right now. You are making your future. You are the architect of your future. Okay. So make sure that as you are building, not only are you building on stable ground, but you are building something beautiful and like-minded of you. All right. 2026 isn't just another year. It is definitely a portal. All right. The fog of the early 2020s are finally, thank God, they're finally lifting, being replaced by more fire, more fire of Aries and the lightning of Gemini. Okay. Don't be afraid of the pivot. Don't be afraid of the shift. Take out the old rules and make your own rules. Live by your own measures. Live by your own thinking and your own ways. All right. 2026 is definitely going to be a busy, busy year, but do not feel like you have to force or meet any demands of anything. Okay. Everything is going to happen and fall into place as it should. Have faith in yourself, in God, in divine, in spirit, whatever it is that you resonate with. Have faith and just keep doing your part. You don't have to do anything extra. Take these next couple of months of rest, of restore yourself, reflect, reanalyze, and most importantly, realign. I'm going to pause here. Let's pull an oracle card. I got my trusty Oracle of Roses. I know it's backwards. Oh, well, you know what I'm saying. All right. I have been doing oracle pulls at the end of my tarot readings lately, so might as well do one the end of my YouTube video that I might or might not post. I'm just posting. They said just post, so I'm just going to do it. Let's see. What is something that we can take away? The Alchemist. Oh, Lord. And I know it's backwards. Let's see. Before you, there may be paths to choose from and problems to deal with, or blankness that needs to be filled. And this will only be solved by your own hand. Your perspective is vital and has ultimate bearing on the next move. But use the power wisely, as movements that are unbound by natural laws are usually short-lived celebrations of glittery magic and emptiness. The alchemist crafts from what is already here and with the resources that are available. They trust in their own natural abilities and possibilities and intuitions inherited from themselves and others. If you're into journaling, what can I create from what is within my natural abilities and is being whispered intuitively? So here we are, 2026. What are we looking forward to the most? Me, I think it is the Jupiter entering Leo. That's my number one. And then my number two is Saturn entering Aries on February 13th. Thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to making more videos. I am excited for this journey. I hope that you enjoyed. Love and hugs to you and yours. Stay blessed. No stress. Stay beautiful. Until next time. Bye.